Okie dokie. I am Hundar, live from the end of time. Got a scary-ass dragon behind me. So, I was going to level up my Beastmaster and run a dungeon, but then I was just fucking around with class combos, and I re-rolled for like the 4th time instead. It really is just such a blast trying everything out in this game. It's really one of those things where at this point in WoW, everything is just so clear-cut and dry in terms of like, this is how you play this class. And, you know, it's like, while there's still obviously smart and stupid decisions in Rift in terms of like skills and talent points, it's still kind of nice to be able to just try everything out while it's new. I don't know. That'll be the only time I reference WoW in this video, because I really find the comparison arguments pretty boring at this point. Maybe in the comments of this video, you guys can share info on like what class builds you found successful. Because I mean, we can argue about like apples and oranges all fucking day, but either you're playing the game or you're not, right? So, anyways, going off on a tangent there. This second half is going to be a little more relaxed, so let's just start by taking a look at the talent trees real quick. Here you see the talent tree in progress on this toon. Obviously pretty early on here. Basically, during the starting zone, you'll acquire 3 souls, which function as your 3 talent trees to play with. Up top, you'll add talent points to gain new skills, working your way up to like a signature ability at the top. Down at the bottom in the roots, as you build skills at the top, you'll automatically gain new abilities down here that unlock. So, depending on your decisions, you'd basically want to pick a main tree and find 2 other trees that support that. So, here I'm building up a marksman tree, but I'm going for dexterity points in the saboteur tree and some attack power and survivability bonuses in the Riftstalker tree. I mean, I also chose them for their abilities, because Riftstalker lets you teleport, and Saboteur has some really badass demolition options. So you really just try to take everything into consideration when you're making your class choices. Also, I have a confession to make. In the first part of this video, I said that most of the racials were pretty arbitrary, but man, the agility racial is just the coolest fucking thing ever. I mean, 70% speed increase. Combined with my Riftstalker teleport, I'm just all over the fucking place here. Okay, so anyways, again, my suggestion, play everything that remotely interests you until you find a class combo that really excites you, and then just roll with that. Alright, so now let's go over the list of dungeons you've got available to you as you're leveling, and then we'll hit some hot Rift action. Like you'd expect, there are dungeons for a variety of level ranges in this game, starting at level 17. 17 to 21, you've got Realm of the Fae and Iron Tomb, which will be your introduction of forming a party and jumping into a dungeon. You'll basically want a tank, a healer, and 3 DPS like any other dungeon. From 22 to 23, you've got Darkening Deeps. 25 to 26 is Deep Strike Mines. 29 to 30 is the Foul Cascade. King's Breach is 34 to 35. Runic Descent is 37 to 40. Fall of Lantern Hook at 43 to 44. Charmer's Caldera is 49 to 50, along with Abyssal Precipice. Now, all of these dungeons have expert versions for when you're level 50, so you can go back, start getting gear. There's 2 tiers, Tier 1 and Tier 2, and that'll pretty much be what you'll take into raiding. In addition to PvE dungeons, there are 4 PvP Warfront instances to get your bloodlust going. Black Garden is a 10 versus 10, which you can start playing at level 10. That involves keeping possession of an object for as long as possible. Although the longer you have it, the more it tries to kill you, basically. It's the Fang of Regulos. Kind of reminds me of Halo's Oddball, which is pretty nice to see brought over. The Codex is for players level 20 and up, and is a 15 versus 15 where you try to hold down tactical positions. Whitefall Steps is a level 30 15 on 15 that works like Capture the Flag. And the Battle for Port Sion is a max level 20 versus 20. That's sort of a full-on sprawling warfront map where you gain the most points, or you kill the opposing faction's commander to win. You know what's awesome about Rift? Group looting. My god, it's like a stroke of genius. You kill a bunch of mobs, you click on one to loot the entire group. Genius. Okay, so the rifts themselves, the heart and soul, the meat and potatoes, the tacos and pizza of this game. Basically, you can keep track of what's happening with rifts on your map at any time. What I love, love, love about rifts are that they will drop on your head like a hawk on a bunny out of nowhere. For example, I was just hanging out doing quests, and suddenly the announcement goes off and rifts just start popping up everywhere. On your map, you'll see everything that's active with the appropriate level of the creatures coming out of it. So if you're level 13, you know to go to the level 13 rift and run the fuck away from the level 20 rifts. Rifts that are not tended to will definitely get out of hand, and the mobs will start forming footholds where they're basically making camp, and then they'll start forming invasion groups where they just start running around the zone and fucking shit up away from the rifts that spawn them. I believe the rifts form based on the number of people around too, but sometimes crazy shit just happened around me when I wasn't even seeing that many other players. So here's a great example where the plane of life was forcing non-consensual sexual relations on my zone with a chainsaw made of dicks. I mean, holy moly, look at that map. The plus is that it really does make the world feel very alive and very dangerous. It's very easy to get caught near a high-level rift that spawns and just get murdered over and over again trying to escape. It's like trying to outrun a forest fire sometimes. It's pretty exciting. Some people complain that it interrupts their quest, so that it's not fair that like higher level rifts will spawn next to like a low level player, but it's kind of like dealing with a bear out in the woods, where the bear doesn't give a shit what level you are in real life or how well armed you are. It just wants to like disembowel you and wear your guts as a hat. So basically, as you fight rifts, you'll earn Planarite from the mobs you're killing, and you can redeem that for gear. So in that regard, the rifts can become kind of a grind for Planarite if you're not careful, but if you keep it fun and just keep joining groups, you'll enjoy yourself. One thing that's awesome is Rift's auto group system, where you pretty much can opt in to join groups already fighting stuff, and even form raid groups just by fighting alongside a big enough group of people in a big battle. I think that's a pretty cool way to get people comfortable in groups early on and used to like working together in a raid, you know, versus like running shit on your own for 50 levels and then being expected to figure it out at the end game. I was kind of reluctant to just get into another MMO at the moment, but Rift really does have some pretty fun options. I think the races are maybe a little boring right now, but class-wise, they've obviously had like a lot of love poured into them, and the altaholics are just going to lose their fucking mind over some of this shit. But it's funny, you know, you kind of get that feeling in some games where like the unknown is very real, and you like wander into a zone and be like, oh fuck, this is an undead zone, I shouldn't be here. It was like, you know, like a swarm of zombies comes towards you or something. And I hadn't really felt that in a long time, but some of the stuff with the Rift dynamic events in this game have actually kind of brought that back a little bit, so I've definitely appreciated it. So whatever it's worth, I am having a lot of fun so far, and all of my tunes are still very, very far of the level cap. So in the comments, you guys should let me know how you feel the higher level stuff is treating you, and if the excitement of the lower levels kind of sticks around or if it gets old. The good news is now that I'm done making these 2 101 guides, I can just play for myself, because I love throwing bombs at skeletons. I will bomb every skeleton in the face! Hundar out, y'all.